Hey everybody, this is Doug Rosemer back with another video. Now, by request, somebody was asking how to use the permission system for the sentry guns. So I'm going to do a really quick rundown of the new features. I know I did a video at some point showing this off, but it's just easier for me to go over it from top to bottom again. Now, for those who haven't used the sentries, they're nothing like the old sentries, and they don't work like most modded sentries. Now, of course, they have the same side effect. You place it down, you put ammo in it, and it'll shoot and murder things. But the difference is the fact that we have global permission systems that allow us to do a variety of different things, and it allows us to synchronize the settings between all the sentry guns, so you don't have to go from sentry gun A, B, C, and D and input what player you don't want to murder. Instead, we have a global list that you can sit down and edit. So let's go ahead and find a sentry gun. Now I'm going to just grab the basic cannon sentry from the ICBM Sentries mod that's an Armory add-on. And we're going to place it on top of my earlier demo here where we're working on the stuff. Now, by default, when you build a sentry gun, it is going to go ahead and place. It's going to have no ammo in it. It's going to default with a certain amount of settings. It's going to basically say, okay, I'm not going to target certain things. If you want to kill players, you basically have to start setting it to target hostile. So that's the first thing you're going to have to do in order to get it to work. These will eventually be replaced by icons to make this process easier, but the tooltips do a pretty good job here. You can, of course, go through and change everything with it comes here. Living creatures, anything that's alive. Players, any player, flying, anything that flies, animals, anything that's animal, so your sheep, cows, whatever. Tamed creatures is going to do your wolves and any horses and stuff. And then of course you got monsters, which are going to be anything hostile pretty much, and villagers. So you can set this up. Now of course these are just edge cases put in here in case you want to be stupid with your designs, but most of the time players hostile and monsters hostile and you're good to go. So that's your targeting list. Of course we have a upgrade system that's not implemented and settings system that's not implemented, so don't worry about these. The system we want to look at today is the permission system. Now this has been overhauled, and where I'm currently in the process of still improving it massively. But you can get to the profile settings up here. Of course there will be a help page implemented at some point, and you can edit your what ID you want to use. By default it's going to default with the friends list. Now this friend list is tagged to your name. It's a special unique ID in here that when you put in the word friends list, it's going to put your name or actually I think your UID tag either in front or behind it, so that way it'll grab your actual list that is uniquely assigned to your player, and only your player can only be accessed and controlled by your player. How to get to this is you can hit profile settings and it'll take you right to that friends list. Of course you can get to all your other list here. We have an earlier list with my name in it, which was the previous version. You used to put your name actually in the list. Now we just call it friends, and this will be always friends, and we won't allow another list to be called friends, although you might still be able to manage it. Anyways, when you open this up, at the moment, still using the old GUIs, this will eventually be reduced to just make it so much easier to work with. But you can see up here the ID is your UID that you actually use for your character. This is unique to your account and it never will change. So if you change your username, it doesn't matter. If you could flip between servers, it doesn't matter. It will still be the same UID. You can get into here, you can click the face to grab into the user list, and you can add different users in here. Right now the GUIs are a bit lacking on how easy they are to use. There is some render problems with the button and everything else that we're certainly in the process of fixing. But you can add different players, so if you have Bob and John in here, you can also delete users from the list and actually update it. So you can add whoever you want to this friend list, and they will be on your friends list. They will be people that the sentry gun trusts and will not shoot at. Of course, you can override this process by simply switching to shoot everybody but yourself. That is actually an option. The sentry guns will never shoot at you. No matter what you do, they're programmed to not shoot at you for obvious reasons, and because it's stupid. Of course, you get that list. Now, right now, you're not going to be able to edit any nodes on the friends list, and you can't edit any settings. You can try to do whatever you want with this. It's not going to let you do it. It's pretty much locked in to have a single group, and it's locked in to have default settings. The nodes it will actually put on here, which are currently not actually on here, is it'll simply tell it that this is a friend or foe list, and it will tell us that this is a identify friendly, is what it'll set the friend list to. There's no hostile list in here or anything else. If you want to make a better profile, what you'll do is you'll hit new profile, you'll name it, and we can say this will be base A. You can call it whatever you want. It'll actually save this with a unique ID, so you'll have a display name and you'll have a unique ID on this, so you hit save. So we go here, and right now this will be profile underscore base, and it'll have a system time at the end of this, in order to prevent two players from naming the same profile, same thing. Of course, you have display name and everything else. Now, a default profile, when you do make it, comes with a user, admin, owner, hostile, and friendly group. You are, by default, always going to be in the owner group, and currently it looks like there's something wrong with the permission nodes because it's not letting me click this. I'll fix this later. But you'll be able to go in each of these groups. You'll be able to customize their nodes by clicking this button and customizing their parent group. Now, how it works is the user is the base group, admin extends user, and owner extends admin. So any permissions you have work that way. Owner's almost always going to have a complete root access on that, and that node cannot be removed as far as I've set it up. you will be in that group. Obviously, you can add more owners to a profile. So what you can do is share your profile with multiple people and set it up so that way more than one person can be editing this and add users to this, and so on and so on. Hostile and friendly group are separated from the rest of the group, so they're not attached to any other group, and they're set up so that way you have a list of people you always want to murder and a list of people that you don't want to actually be shot at. Now, the reason why there's these two profiles at the bottom is the friendly list doesn't have any real permission nodes on it other than to say that this is a friendly and everything else. The difference between the friends list and this version is that the friends list will actually give your friend access to your sentry gun and will let them actually get in there and adjust things and put ammo in your turrets and stuff. The friendly on here will give them no access. They will just not be shot by the turret. Hostile makes sure they are shot by the turret. Both these groups have like no real permission nodes. User, on the other hand, if you put something in the user list, not only is it considered a friendly, it will also have the extended node of being able to open the GUIs and put ammo in there. It does have restrictions that they won't be able to change a lot of the settings. That's the reason why there's a separate group for admin. Admin have the ability to change settings and will have the ability to actually manipulate the group itself, so they'll have the ability to add more users to the group and change the friend or flow thing. Eventually, by the way, for those who might be asking, we will be having a audit log system for this, so that way if you do have somebody on here that's an admin and they remove somebody, on this right hand side, which is the reason why this is blank, you'll have an audit log saying admin so and so remove the person and so on. You'll be able to scroll down there, sorted by time log and everything else. That's not implemented at the moment. You will also be able to make more groups in the future, so if you want to make a custom group that has only the ability to put ammo in your sentry guns but has nothing else, then you could do that. You could call it like ammo runner. If you want to make somebody who can edit permissions on the sentry guns but can't do anything else, then you can make a group for that. That's where hitting that gray button like we did on the friends list here will open up a node system, and you can add a node like root.machine.open is I think what the permission node is for this. We will have a system already for this. You can see where this error node already exists on here. That's where this is just not displaying properly. There's probably some bug with the packet code that I'll definitely have to work on. But that's all there, and it's pretty easy to use. Now, if you make your own custom group and you want to use it, what you'll do is you can hit this button right here to copy. Eventually, that will be a nice, more beautiful button to work with. That'll be much more clear. And if you want to refresh the GUI for some reason it wouldn't be loading, you can hit refresh to refresh the group. You can hit refresh over here to refresh all groups, which I'm going to go ahead and hit, and that doesn't clear out the error. Of course, you saw the new profile, and you can hit a back button to go back. Now, right now, the back button won't do anything if you actually get to the GUI from the sentry gun. It will eventually do that. I got to code the behavior. What that is actually designed to do is if you hit Control and tilde is that button next to your tab on the 1 key. This will open up the quick access book, which I covered in another video showing it off what it does, and you can click permissions to get to that, and of course you get the back button to go back and forth. This is also will have a book system here. The help button on the sentry gun is what it's designed to do. If you actually click it, it will take you to the help page for the sentry gun to tell you how to use it. Right now that's not implemented, I'm still in the process of working on it. But that's how to go ahead and use this. You just put a new ID in here for the groups you make. Of course, I saw you showed how you can copy that, and you would just hit Control V to paste it back in here, and then hit save. The green little LED here will tell you that that profile is loaded on the remote and that it confirms that it has access to that profile, and it will be pulling settings from that profile. You can actually set your sentry guns to other people's profiles, so be careful when you're spelling and stuff, and be careful how you type it in. So you can actually set your profile to hostile. Now, it still will always do a check on the sentry gun itself, not the profile, if you are the owner, so you will still never be shot by your own sentry gun, but you can accidentally make your profiles belong to another player if you don't know what you're doing and mess up. Of course, when we get the help pages up, there'll be a huge documentation on how to use this down to the last detail, and you'll be able to access that help button. These help buttons will end up being on all these GUIs as well to explain how all these work. And we'll be back with more videos here later explaining how these different functionality work. But that's a global system, by the way. For those who do want to know that, it is accessible on all worlds in your server, all places, all time. So what you could do is build an entire fortress of sentry guns and just leave the friends list in there and you're good to go. And you can then go, hey, I have a friend. We will be adding chat commands for this in the future, so that way you can quickly friend people so you don't have to open up the GUI. That's the whole reason behind the friends list. And this will be shared on other mods as well. MFS is going to get this feature eventually, and we will be using this on other Armory content. Maybe even military-based decor will get this so you can lock chests, and we'll be using this probably on the Greater Security mod if we ever update that as well. For those who don't know, Greater Security mod is an older mod we made that had locked doors, locked chests, and traps and stuff that detected for a friends list. And what it had is an old friend list system on it where you open up the door itself and you would put people on that door to say they could open up that. But now you have a friends list system. For those who want to expand upon this, you can basically make a profile per room on your base, and then assign people to that room, and that's how you would give them access to the room and make sure the sentry guns didn't kill them in certain areas. In the future, we'll expand upon this concept by adding it so that way you can put node permission tags, and what will happen is you'll have a permission node here at the bottom, so it'll be another box here that you would be able to go, okay, don't look at the default node to see for friend or foe, look at this node, does the user have this node, and then they're allowed in this area. We'll also have ways to, on the sentry guns, with the reason why there's a setting tab, to set their area of attack and their safe zone limit, so there'll be a system later for the sentry guns where it'll alert on safe zone, and there'll be tons and tons of other features, and I'll go over those with another video.